This is my December Daily 2018-2019 album. This was the first year that Simple Stories did printed albums, and it's also the first year that they did really wide albums. Which was really fun because this was the first Christmas that we were in Colorado. So the wood grain worked really well, but also the thickness. I used a lot of wood pieces because of the wood grain, and also just had a lot to share simply because it was our first year in a new city and a new place. And so lots of stories to share. It is a printed one. I know some people have had issues with things cracking. I never have. So I'm not sure if it's just because we don't live in an area that cause that, or I don't have a ton of people looking at my albums. It's just the two of us, and so we're careful. I'm not sure, but love the peppermint print on the inside. She is thick, though. She is very thick because of all the embellishments. And I also did November, December, January, again going to January 7th because of Ukrainian Christmas and the Julian calendar, but also adding in November. Lots of new things, lots more layering this year. I felt like my scrapbooking kind of changed. I don't know if it's because it was a change in our lives or because I got a sewing machine, so you can see the sewing here. A change in some techniques. I don't know. Our styles just change over time. Lots of fussy cutting. This is a big ornament for your tree. I loved it because it had the wood grain. And it's an F for fears, and so I use that as my title page. Lots of stitching. I used a ruler and made kind of a grid here lightly with a pencil and then stitched over it with red thread. Used red ink here for some of my writing of things that I want to experience in this season and what I wanted it to be. Added some icons in the wooden pieces here. Put the tree at the top so it could fill in that kind of title part. Love this. Instead of a reason why page, it's more of a this is what I want out of this season. November had this great embossed page. I think it came from Allie Edwards. Freckled Fawn had these wooden words, stitched a little banner on here. Used a bunch of flair that I had in my stash, but it's thick with flair. So I've used up a lot of my flair, gotten rid of it. Used up a lot of my wooden pieces or gotten rid of them. But they're fun. They're just thick. So November, adding in some pieces, screenshotting some chats. My friend's birthday is in January. She saw this tree that she really loved. I surprised her with ordering it and sending her the confirmation saying, hey, go pick it up, happy early birthday. So I was being Santa, making some magic. I used the little flip here with some washi. Here's the story. Here's the tree in her house and decorated. She sent me a close-up of some, and so it kind of extends that picture of here's the tree as it was in the marketing piece, and then here it was decorated. So that was kind of fun. I would do that again with the little flip flap there. You can see that it's stitched, and then the back has our discussion back and forth and some digital cards that I had designed. I printed one out, and again, we sent those in and she went and picked those up. So kind of fun to have that conversation there in that story. And then, as we're getting a tree, my dad sent me this picture of trees in his yard, and so all of the frost and the snow and the cold, you feel cold just looking at that, but I loved how the blue tones kind of match there as well. And then the snow in Colorado. So, this isn't a Christmas card. It's just a blue journaling piece, and then used it here though to kind of match with this big photo that I cut in half. I needed the other side to be different, and so here I cut it in half. Here's one of the buildings, a view from our building, and all of the snow. So being able to use some of my ephemera there. Also in November, just random, not every single day, just random days, 10th to the 12th November. Here we are taking our photos in Garden of the Gods. I wanted to take pictures so that we could use them in our Christmas cards. I just noticed, because it's dark, there is a little camera Maybe it's supposed to be there. Um, I have no idea. I'll have to figure that out after, so I'll just tuck it back in, but it's probably supposed to be up there. But here we are. Garden of the Gods, big photos. Thickness is an issue with this one, but I like how it turned out and the colors. Going shopping on Black Friday. Tom walking through all of the toys here, and these kids were just so excited. I had to take a picture of it. I love using gift cards. Here's the little Target dog, and having the Christmas but also the little fall piece because it was Thanksgiving. That was a lot of fun, using the washi over here on this tag. This is a foam piece, adding some ribbons and stuff with the tiny attacher. Love this for these albums because the staples are not thick, and they're also small. Doing lists, I like this. Thankful for what? If I were to do this again, I probably would stamp these numbers or use stickers, but I just wrote them out on this tag. Lots of die cuts. Die cuts were great in these albums because they're nice and thin, right? Because it's just the paper. Same thing with stamps. Stamping out the pumpkins, watercoloring them, putting them in here. I did use a lot of wooden pieces because of the album being wood. Us being in Colorado, lots of trees. So adding that in. So that was our Thanksgiving. And then unfortunately, Tom had a cracked tooth, and so we had to deal with that. So taking a picture of that. Life is life. This is a nice little flip out. It's kind of a fun story. Ellie Edwards had done this rubber tree as part of her December daily release. And I took a popular meme at the time and changed into Ellie Edwards and the rubber tree, and how everyone was just going nuts over it. And so everybody was like commenting, and it was just so fun, and we were having so many laughs about us all being obsessed with this tree. So I printed them all out in little screenshots. You can kind of see the lines, and then put a piece of paper divider and a little sticker, and then put the story. Again, it's not a big thing. It's not, it didn't change the world, but it's just really funny, and you would forget about it, and you wouldn't have all of this unless you document it. So I just put it in here because it's fun. On the back of that, a big photo of Tom and the packages we were sending. Get to use some taller ephemera in kind of these dark, dead zones that don't have anything going on. Here's another meme on a card, a digital file that I printed out and used with wooden pieces. Here's our Christmas card. Often I will use the inside of the card for journaling. However, this time I did not. I used, pieces of the paper that were left over that was on the card for around the card. And this was the first year in Colorado, so one of the exclusive sets at Simple Stories has Colorado over and over again. So I used With Love From, stamped Colorado, stamped the tree, kind of did a 3 different stamps there for the inside. So that was fun. I always keep one of our cards because they change over time and the photo changes, and it's kind of fun to have those. And then on the back, to finish up November, I always like my next month or next year divider page to be on the right. It's a nice place for your eye and your mind to rest and prepare for the next. So finishing up on the 30th, watching in a Christmas thing here, and then finishing decorating. And it was cooler, so there's my Saskatchewan Rough Rider mitts, and kind of matching everything together with the green and the stars with this card. Some stitching of the thickers there. Lots of fun. Okay, into December. Love this paper from Echo Park. Love it, love it, love it. I'm pretty sure it's Echo Park. Added a strip of washi and then stitched on it, stitched around the edge. Here's a little slip of plaid paper. I love plaid for Christmas. A Hobby Lobby sticker. It was a 3D sticker. I peeled it all apart, took out the foam, layered it all back up because I didn't want the thickness. Even though I have a big flare here, which is already thick, at the time I didn't have the flare there. I just wanted the sticker, and then the December here, the wood, it's nice and flat with the die cut from my silhouette. And then I added the flare so he could have stayed thick anyway, but I wanted to tuck him, and so everything worked out well for December. I saw a layout online of circles, and it kind of was from one side to the next with a diagonal, and I replicated that here with photos of some friends of ours who lived in Denver at the time and their 2 cats. Stitched on some of the papers and just cut circles out of other papers that I use elsewhere. So that was a lot of fun to do. I would definitely do that again. The second was a small one. If you watch other videos, the second was my mom's birthday. We always watch The Grinch. It's a tradition in honor of her. It was her favorite. And so small little story and a picture of our screen there. Finishing up here with the Grinch. This is from a Colorado company. They do laser cuts in wood and acrylic color cast designs. Jessica does a great job of her designs there. Here's the tag. I got a new ornament. Usually my stories are on a spread together, but in this case, the second front and back kind of works together. The third, talking about change, this is from my silhouette. Again, a non-Christmas card, stamped on it, stamped the numbers out here. Excuse me, wanted them to be nice and large so I can have room for my journaling. Used some stamps on that. Came together super quick. Doesn't have to be complicated, people. Again, card, washi, stitched it, added little pieces here, journaling. The story of the day were these new recliners that we got. You don't even actually really see much of the recliners. You just see us in them. That was good enough for me. Here we are in our recliners. This was a card that my brother sent. So I make Christmas cards. I send them out to people. And he sent me this little card that he pulled together. Like, this is how weird he was. I love him. How do you know this is a Christmas card? Because it said so. Love, Santa. Now, Santa Card Productions. And he sent this to me in the mail because I always make Christmas cards. So what I did is I had created, now, for something so little, taking all the time to do this, would I do this again? Probably not. But at the time, it made sense. So I took a 6x8 protector. I, determined how tall that needed to be. Stitched it, used a cutter, cut it out. Packed in all of these sequins, and they fall and they move around, and you don't see some of them because they're in the middle, but who cares. Packed a bunch in, especially into this channel, because you see that. Stitched it, cut the rest off. Took a foam heart that I cut on my with my die cut machine, put it on here, stitched it, then found this little acrylic envelope, hand stitched it, so you can see the 2 little stitches there, so that the card could fit in there and be in my album. Now, it's a plain piece of paper. It's a little card. I try not to rip it every time I put it through there. Is it really big and important? At the time, it sure didn't seem so. Did it warrant all this time and effort doing this? Probably not. At the time. Fast forward to now, and when I look at my albums every year. When I looked at my album last year, it made me laugh because my brother would always do something silly. Like he had such a good sense of humor, and jokingly mocking me was just our relationship. This year, though, sorry, I lost my brother earlier this year. So seeing this now makes me laugh, but also is kind of a punch to the throat. Because I'm still grieving. And I miss him daily. And in this moment, I am so glad I took the time to do this production for a simple little card that he literally took 2 minutes to make and 2 minutes to send to me, because I won't get another card from him ever again. And that is why I do these albums. Capturing the memories and the people and the stories that mean something to you right now. Because it might be something little right now, and it may not mean a lot right now, but someday it could mean everything. So do it. Keep it. Document it. Take the photo. Buy the stuff. Print the photos. Put them in a book. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look designer. It just has to be a slice of your life, because it's worth it. You are worth it. The little stories that mean something to you are worth it. So document the stories. Day 5. This is a picture of the front of the office, which has a beautiful little spot here for my 5. I remember walking in and thinking, oh man, that would be great for my December daily. Printed the photo, cut it into a tag. Again, mini attacher with some ribbon. Flip it over. The story is, well, in the evening we played Lego video game. There were some discretionary Christmas bonuses that the directors were giving out, and I was the recipient of one, and I was very appreciative of that. So that's story number 5, and I'm again really glad I encapsulated the picture of my director, because I lost him earlier this year as well, and he played a huge part of my life at work in bringing me to Colorado from San Diego when that office was closing, in things that I learned here, in opportunities I had in terms of promotions. So really glad I have him in my book. Day number 6. You can see on my face, I had a medical issue that took me into an emergency. And so this is a flip. I'm not going to flip it. But a flip is a good way to have stuff that you don't necessarily want everybody to see or share. This painting was in there and it kind of cracked me up. I grew up in Canada, so seeing a big moose on the wall, and it was huge, like 6 feet, 8 feet long canvas. But oddly comforting, as I'm in this room by myself. My wooden pieces, I stamped on it with stays on, wrote on it, life is what it is, good and bad. And they actually sent me a little card, so I included that over here as well. Day number 7. So I usually get my hair cut in December. So this was self-care. Again, those are all cutouts on my silhouette. Not a Christmas card, but a black and white one to go with everything else, and my little wooden pieces. Putting everything at the bottom of the photo, 1, 2, 3. I love lists in December daily. It works out great. 8 is our advent calendar. We decided to get Nakatomi Plaza, and has a little drawer that had all the movies in it. This is the marketing from the actual box that it was in. Added some things on top of here because I chose what I wanted to keep here. On the back of it, I added another piece from that box, an actual picture of it. We got some Die Hard items, the Funko Pops of Al and John McClane, added them on there, filled in the dead spot with some journaling, took some pictures of the screen, added it all in. It's a tradition of ours to watch Die Hard. It's set at Christmas. It's a Christmas movie. Die Hard 2 is a Christmas movie, also set at Christmas. Fight me. You won't win. It's a Christmas movie. So, documented that. Also documented Tom playing online with some friends, and then enjoying the fire, and then 9, the wrapping paper. So I always do something with the wrapping paper. And so here, laid it out on the kitchen floor with the entire intent of it to hold the number 9, with some washi and stitching, and having my journaling done in Photoshop right on the photo, and then putting these foam letters here. Often when I do this, I will take the photo like as the screen is looking, this a little higher, this a little lower. I don't want it perfectly in the middle. If you notice with my hands, it's not perfectly in the middle. Just to get to the right thing. You can do it in Photoshop if you play around too with different sizing and stuff. But, do I want all of them? Do I want them, vertical, horizontal? I like how this looked with them coming down. The wrapping paper you choose every year is a little different. Some of these are in some of the other years. Some of them are new. It is what it is, but it's fun. I like doing that with the wrapping paper. Here, big photo. One photo. Didn't have that on the next day. So just used paper, used my 4x6 photo, used a 4x6 card, butted them up to each other, added some sparkly washi there, did some stitching just to kind of pull it all together. This card had space for journaling with the tree, so it was already like 2 sections. So I like the look of the 3 sections here with the number and everything. A non-Christmas card that I liked, this week's schedule. This one takes a little more planning because I had to write out what the plan was for the week. And then I paired that with just a picture of our patio. We were on the ground floor with our lights, the line of blue there mimicked in the line of the blue washi here. Left room with the digital file for the 11. Kind of easy to pull that together. Then I went for a work trip, and so again, making it work, not a Christmas thing, but use that with the photo here to kind of give a context of where I was. I was going to California for a few days for some client stuff and to see some family. Here in the airplane, added my circles for my number. A big photo of me. I used progress over perfection, progress line perfection, and I put progress not perfection where I feel like I'm a work in progress, and that is always apparent in December as we're kind of finishing up a year and going into a new year and looking at the holiday season. And then my journaling on the back was done in Photoshop with that intent, like working on this and working towards that, and keep going. I stamped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with my stamps. They're not perfect. Progress, not perfection. And so that was kind of fun. And then to kind of replicate the circle theme, here's the photo of the outside of the client's office. I could have left it straight, but I just wanted the circles, right? It was just something different. And so I took it and I used my Martha Stewart cutter to cut it into a circle shape. Nice and straight here, but circular with the 13. You've got the archway of the door here, the circular here, the circles over here, the circle there. So it kind of worked. This is a sheet of paper. It was in a paper pack. It's a street. I don't know when you would use this, but I stuck it on the back because I spend a lot of time on the road driving around. Around with clients, and then driving down to San Diego and spending time, there with family and friends and stuff like that. So, and by myself. I wrote all that there. And then I did go to Downtown Disney. I didn't have Disney tickets. It was after work the one day. And so just went to World of Disney, dead spaces in the photos, putting some journaling spots in here. I love this configuration of the 3x3s and the 2x2s because these are the things I bought, with some of our Disney dollars from our credit card. And it's nice to have those as small photos. And on the back, in and out, so good. One of the walls there have a whole bunch of the trees, so I took a picture of that specifically so I could use it as a background. And then put work hard, play harder. Here's my animal style fries. A Christmas card, and I love using vellum to kind of break up and put a filter almost between the wood and the card. This was just a regular card, but I like the colors. It worked well with everything else for my journaling. Die cuts, super fun. Stitching, adding in some embellishments, adding in some stickers. lots of fun there. Stenciling. My brother was an animator for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I wanted a picture of him because he was an animator there, him, one of his friends. Here, this is a flip-flap that is stuck with washi to the actual outside of the protector. Okay, it's not adhered to the photo behind it, as you can see. But it has the ticket, and then I use stickles to highlight his name. It's so cool to see his name in movies. So, again, it's on the outside, but it's flipping up, so it's not going to be ripped or something. I don't usually put things on the outside of the protectors because I'm worried about them being popped off or lost or whatever, but that seems to work with the washi. This was a card that I really liked. I love poinsettias and I love plaid, so this card was at the dollar store and I loved it. It's a little thicker. It has the pop dots. I left them. However, I did cut the second part of the card out. Use the inside of the card to put, like adhered it so that I had a journaling spot. Added some stamps and washi here and tags, cutouts. This was our 5th anniversary. I had picked out a ring with 5 stones. Tom really wanted the Infinity Gauntlet, so I had got that for him as a surprise gift. So, you know, our joke was, you know, he bought me bling, I bought him bling. So, wanted that to be a big photo of our 2 hands in the book. So I thought that was kind of fun. And then on the back, our Christmas tree. I love having the Christmas tree as big photos. Put the digital on there. Added a little acrylic piece and my wooden piece. And then our secondary tree. And then some little decorations around the place, which is kind of fun. Decorations at work. Here's my desk at work. I've done this a couple of times. This is just, you know, some pajama pants that I got through the year. I've done this before with Christmas pajamas that are specifically to Christmas. And so that's kind of fun. But these ones are just regular, you know, pajama pants. And so doing some circles here with the wood pieces. And then, you know, stickers, stitching, sights and sounds of the season. And so this is kind of a multi-spread. If you've watched any of the other videos, I always kind of include things that I'm listening to. So these were the key ones. Some of them I listen to every single year. And they're going to be in every single book. And I really don't care because I love them. John Denver and the Muppets. I love that album. It'll be in every single book. I don't care. I love it. I love it from my childhood. I love it now. It's great. And so those are the sounds and then the sights. So I cut this before and did, you know, a smaller one where I put the movies that we were watching. And so I did it in a big format this year. So that it was easier. And also because I have the prompts here of movie night and must-see TV. So these were all the movies we were watching. And then these are all the shows that we were watching at that time and loving at that time. Now, I backed everything. I glued it all together. Everything looked great. Must-see TV. And then I'm like, it's really white in the middle. I need to put something in there. Here's where sometimes you make a decision and it doesn't go well. I don't like this stamping. I put the stamping in and then I'm like, I don't like that. I added my journaling, but I really did not like that. And so it was too late because I had done all of the work. So sometimes stamping is great and it matches and it looks perfect. Other times it's like, oh man, I just ruined what I did. But, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. So these are the movies. And this was the TV. Okay. I do photos of us at work. Here's Tom at work. Here's me at work. Here I didn't have another photo. I really liked this image though of this hot chocolate. And so because it matched with everything else, I just went for it. And so, adding in those pieces, I love it. I still love it. I love the peppermint stick against the look of the album. Every year when I look at this, I still enjoy it. And so, I'm glad I did it. So just do it. Just use the stuff that you love. I used some washi in behind here because my photo printed smaller. Um, really annoys me when they cut the photo smaller, but whatever. I put some to match this. So this is vellum with gray dots, and then I put washi to kind of hold it in place, and then everything kind of matched together. And I always wear a Christmas hat when I'm in the office right before holiday season. So there's me and my Santa hat. Something not necessarily Christmas related, but I made a Victoria sponge, and some things that went well and some things that didn't. I used Mary Berry's recipe from Great British Bake Off. Was really into Great British Bake Off at the time. What I learned today probably came from Ellie's studio and was supposed to be like a school thing. I learned things making this cake, so that's what that day is. Not all days have to have pictures. So I mentioned before that the 23rd, I guess in other videos I mentioned, the 23rd was my grandma's birthday. And so just journaling of, sometimes that's hard. Sometimes it's hard. It is what it is. So these are stickers at this time of year, and then the stitching, because on the other side I cut the big Santa, and then the stitching worked for this title, but also holding him in place too. So here is the Santas that I collected. Santa on Christmas Eve just worked here. So this was the spread. And then, the stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. That's a digital I put in there. Blew it up big because I wanted to be able to see that. But it's all about Santa. But on the back of this page, I didn't have anything Santa-wise. I didn't have enough Santas at that time to fill it. So, ho, ho, ho for Santa. But, oh, here's all the good things that we love. Terry's chocolate orange, which is amazing. The Lindor chocolates. Our friends in Denver had a cookie company. They were selling cookies. My Diet 7-Up had this great jacquard print with the reindeer. So these are all just marketing pieces, washing them, wiping them down. Walgreens used to sell these amazing dill pickle nuts. Oh, I still miss those. They were such good peanuts. And then a friend gave me these because they stopped making those. They're pretty decent too. So just little pieces of the season. And then, of course, getting into, Christmas. Here's the spread. Again, a little insert here. I love organizational structures, and, Christmas birthdays are a good time to buy those for me as gifts because I can justify the money for them. And I also just really, really love them. So these are Hobby Lobby cabinets that I got. Hobby Lobby card there. Digital Santa. All I want for Christmas is organization. But I have All I Want for Christmas Is You there with Tom as well. And there's the Santa, the digital Santa here. And then I flipped him for over there. So that there's that consistency. And then here's the flip up of, there's a picture of me with a necklace that I got for Christmas. And then the food that we made. So that's our Christmas. It was just the two of us that year. And then the day after Christmas, I think I had taken the day off. In Canada, it's Boxing Day. It's always kind of a holiday. But I think I took the day off to work on a London album. So I just had a day of scrapbooking. This is a tag that I got from Paper Chase in London, who are no longer in business, and I'm so sad. I saw this, I think, on Pinterest, and I loved it. And I wish I had the artist, but I got it printed because I just love it. For in here, it was a good spot to hold the number and everything. And also take a little picture of the little tree and all of the goodies that I had gotten in London, in Disneyland Paris, that was in my little scrap area in our tiny apartment that we got at the time. So there's storage in behind, but I had kind of just made a little corner, my scrapbooking corner. So it's kind of fun to see that now because, this tree is maybe 1.5 feet tall. And now I have a 7-foot tree full of decorations. So it's kind of fun to see that. Sometimes the stories are just small stories. So, Here's me at work after 5 days of being away. There was lots to catch up on. And here's Tom playing video games one night. And here was my December daily Christmas stuff waiting for me to get to it. And here we had taken the decorations down early. Very rare for me to take down the decorations before January. But this year wasn't feeling them anymore. So we took them down. So, and the irony of picture perfect when this picture's anything but is kind of funny as well. And you see that there's stars in behind because I used washi again. So New Year's Eve, we went to some friends. LA Studios started making these cards of favorites from the year. And so instead of just writing my favorites for the year, I always ask Tom his favorites. This was the first year they had it, so it was quite a bit of fun. Like your favorite moment, your favorite food, your favorite place. The taco place that we found was Tom's favorite place, and Costco. I don't know. And that's why you have the exclamation, question mark, exclamation. Like, what? He's not serious when he's answering these questions. Tom's favorite book, quote, I don't read. And that's all he said. And I laughed so hard, I just had to put it in there. So it's kind of fun to see what were some of your favorites at that time. And then, compare year to year. And there's a picture of us. And then this was something that I found online. I absolutely loved it, so I printed it out, which I love reading it too. Again, it's just such a good reminder. And then again, finishing off on this side so that the divider is on the right. We're going into January. Here's some more stitching, another flare, using up bits that you have. I made another grid. As I go into January, a lot of times the January days kind of blur, or I don't have much to say because there's so much that happened in December and I'm kind of waiting out for Ukrainian Christmas, the 6th and 7th. So here I did a grid of just 3. This was the temperature. That is, a cold day. Here's some stuff that I got with a gift card from a friend. We had gotten these cookies and we decorated them. I don't know what was up with us doing the screaming face, but probably tired from the new year and from the holiday season. So that makes me laugh. And then random things, like random. And I know where this came from. I love Golden Girls. Sophia has a story, as Sophia always does. Picture it, Sicily. I was in the dollar store and I saw the Celeste, Mama Celeste pizza. Thought of Sophia and her story, and so bought the pizza because I wanted the cardboard box to document this. So, there's the little, piece of ephemera. Here's the story in really super font, and it's directly taken from watching it, typing it out as I watch it over and over again to get it right. My story, some washi. I have Golden Girl stamps, and so stamped them out and watercolored them in, added some ephemera, added the number. There you go. There's day 4. So much fun. Okay. And then on the back, because it's a cardboard box, I printed a big photo. Okay. Again, nothing super fancy, nothing super exciting. It was my London mug. I was having hot chocolate. Love it. Okay. Now, as I get into the next page, of course, would be Christmas Eve. And so breaking it up, a card. And then it's another Christmas card. I cut it. I like that it's 3D. I thought he was cute. Santa Claus is coming to town works because now we're going into Christmas Eve. And then on the back is a photo of a Loungefly bag that I bought of Fantasia. Love Fantasia. So my plan here was the round curve of the bag to match the round curve of Santa's head. Didn't work out perfectly, but that's okay because then I still see the handle there. I put adhesive on the back of Santa, went up to the light to adhere it to the photo, fussy cut and trimmed it around, and then I sanded the edge so that it's not sharp and also it's not going to catch and rip. And it bonds a little bit better when it's adhered like that. So, again, a place for your eye to rest. And then going into Ukrainian Christmas, it was just the 2 of us. We had just moved to Colorado. So, of course, you know, if you watch the other videos, I used to do a huge meal and stuff like that. Definitely not the 12 dishes. Usually I go meatless because that's tradition. Did pierogies and veggies. Tom eats sausage. He doesn't go meatless. Whatever, it's fine. Had the mean babush cats. Cracks me up every time. And then Tom with his gift, and then we did a charcuterie board of, you know, cheeses and some fruits and crackers and stuff like that too for lunch. And then we had the pierogies for Christmas. And then Ukrainian Christmas. So that was the 7th. Photoshop right on here had stroganoff. You know, so fancy. We're about to get fancy. Dollar Tree things, and I got everybody at work chocolates. And what I did is, they're wrapped in plastic. I wrote Ukrainian, so it was Merry Ukrainian Christmas, and I gave one to everybody. So that was a lot of fun. And then a meme here, which is super funny, but they're good too for, again, a filler, and there's dead space for a little bit of journaling and a little bit of embellishment. Now, if you're watching the other videos, sometimes at the end of the year, I have a look back at the month. I have a look back at the year. Here I didn't have one. I just finished off on January. Maybe I was feeling good. Didn't feel like I needed it. Maybe it was because this was already very thick and there wasn't a lot of extra space. As you can see, it's already, you know, off of the things. It's one of the only books that I have that actually like fans out. I don't like that, but it is what it is, right? I had a lot to say. It was our first time in Colorado. It will squish in with the other albums so that it fits on the shelf. But that was 2018, 2019.